Last time on the Serpent Isle. Talking, and more talking. Namely, with the Fellowship. The Fellowship has returned, this time to spread word of their corrupt values on the Serpent Isle natives. Most of the part was me trying to obtain a map from Scott the cartographer, talking to Ruggs, and talking to Alyssand, who seemed enamored with the Fellowship. Alyssand is a Serpent Isle native, and she recruited the Avatar to investigate corruption in Fawn. We agreed, but I basically took my map to explore the woods north of Knight's Test, because you can't explore Serpent Isle without a map. North of Knight's Test was a goblin meeting area that Craig the Provisioner mentioned earlier. Pretty easy to find. Once we got there, we found a bottle of Fawnish ale. Mysterious, considering that Sam the innkeeper back at Monitor is the only Monitorian knight to drink this garbage. Before heading back though, we found a house with a dead family inside, killed either by goblins or wildlife. I'm thinking wildlife, as goblins tend to eat their victims. Before heading back to Monitor, we found a hollowed out tree with some interesting goodies inside. One of them was a serpent crown. This may be important later on. Once we were done, I went back to Monitor to question Simon. After some pestering, he revealed to be a spy. Not just a spy, but a goblin spy. Turns out he hid amongst the knights by ingesting a magical potion obtained from Moonshade. The concoction is quite addictive, and he can't live without it, according to him. We slew him pretty effortlessly, no thanks to YOLO, and he requested that we get revenge on Palm Durgan, the chieftain, for him. Why did he request that? Because Palm Durgan forgot about him, and didn't give him the Helm of Monitor after many years of loyal service. I said yes because he gives us the location of the goblin hideout. But now that I think about it, if you say no, I think he gives it to you anyways in the hopes you'll kill Palm Durgan. But after that, he died and the part basically ended. Hello, welcome back to some more Serpent Isle, guys. Simon's dead, and you know what? I think I'm actually going to cremate him. I wonder what Renfrew would think and what the knights would think cremating a goblin at the crematorium. But before I do that, I think Marston and whomever, maybe Brendan. Oh, too heavy? Too heavy? What the deuce? Okay, let's... That's gonna be too heavy too. He doesn't have enough stones to carry. Of all people, YOLO can carry Simon. You guys, you two need to not carry so much and pick up the slack. But thankfully the town hall is right over here, so I don't have to walk too far. It's almost 3 p.m. Well, not really. So that means we can go get Dupre's shield from Luther since we beat his butt at Lysfield 2 parts ago. Now let's see if they have any new dialogue, these guys. Brendan? We found a spy. Goblin raid. Thaw's plan to raid the goblin camp. I fear it may be too dangerous, my lord. Best leave it to more experienced fighters. Excuse me, I will go. Don't you know that I'm the Avatar? This is just child's play for the champion of virtue. Well, if that is the way thou dost feel, go thou. Prove thyself worthy. Go on. Templar is the expert on the goblins. Thou mightest consider seeking his advice before risking thy life. We already did that. But other than that, nothing new, so bye. How about, Marston? Traitor. Thou hast done us a valuable service by rooting out that miserable traitor Simon. Although in the true sense of the word, he was merely a lowell goblin, not a traitor. A pox on all goblins. Thought you said, Lydia was the traitor. Now you're pinning it on Simon, in a way. Bye. Kaladin. Simon. So, Simon was a goblin in disguise. 'Twas a clever bit of deduction on thy part to uncover his secret. Bye. Spectre. So glad I can talk to him. Already chose that. One more thing before we go. I'm gonna eat up some time a little bit. In-game. Remember Lydia, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cremate her too after all. Right here. She's got nothing on her. Can I carry her? Barely. Yeah, let's just burn these bodies. First will be Lydia. Right there's fine. I gotta make sure I remember which urn is which. Let's put her in. We get no money for doing this, of course. Lydia, Schmed, and Simon and all that, even though they went through the knight's test, Renfrey does not give you any money. Even show you. Just in case. See, no payment. Okay, so this is Lydia. So Avatar will carry, not the conveyor belt, but the urn. Next will be, Alright, YOLO. Simon. Now I think it's a big deal to cremate goblins. You can use any body here, any item. They did cremate Grenadier, the goblin chieftain from a long time ago, for the knight's test. And we'll have YOLO carry him. I think I'll go back to... Alright, where should I put you, Lydia? I think it's smart to leave them where they died, so I don't forget. And hopefully that won't disappear. I will test that out later. Got that there. We got our scrolls here. I gotta move all this stuff. And I gotta get that chest from Simon's Inn. A lot of skip aheads here because I'm trying to hurry things along, because in this part we're gonna go to Fawn. The City of Beauty. And we can put... Where should I put this? I guess I can just put it in here in Simon's bedroom. Right there. And everyone else can equip their thingies, like... Alright, I guess I can just leave Simon's urn right here. I'm gonna take this chest. You're looking carrot. Not the wall. Chest. Let's go back to Lydia's parlor. This will be our little hub here. I'll put this right here. We're a bit too close to the bed. This is where I'm going to rest, and you can see Lydia's urn right here. Pretty cool. There, that's perfect. Perfect. We got a place to rest, relax, sleep, store some stuff. We got a chest here. I think next we're going to go to Fawn, like I said. So for this part, Fawn, we'll talk to the people there. We could go raid the goblin camp. We have the key for it. We got the key from Simon. Yellow's the key guy. It's this key right here. But we need a bit more training done. Like, I am pretty high up. Dupre's lagging, Shamno's lagging. Yellow needs training, but we can hold off on that for now. Because there's a side quest, not a side quest, there's a main quest in Fawn that we have to do. And I think we get some experience from that, we can do some training, and then raid the goblin camp. Because we're not exactly... We can do it now. We're kind of equipped, but I don't feel... Let's do a little bit more prep work. Let's talk to Luther and get that shield back. Now that thou hast bested me on the field of battle, I am thy friend. What can I do for thee? Luther is much nicer to you once you best him on the list field. It's actually kind of funny. About that shield. So, thou hast heard of my new shield. He says the same thing. Dupre says the same thing. He gets... It always amuses me how he gets so angry at Dupre's accurate accusation. Can you return our shield? I shall certainly be sad to part with it, but if thou hast claimed it, then I must give it to thee. Now I shall have to find myself another shield. But thou canst have this shield which we found. That is most gracious of thee. Yes, this is my shield which so strangely disappeared during that storm. Well, we found it. Many thanks for returning my shield to me, friend. May notice here, join. You can ask Luther to join you. If you choose it, this is what happens. Avatar! Luther! Traveling with us. I do not think this is a good idea. Thou couldst use a warrior like myself to guard thee against thine enemies. With me on hand, nothing could harm thee. But alas, my duty as a knight keeps me here in Monitor. The goblins are a constant threat. Do you have any new lines since you're friendly? Duties? Same thing. Brave. Nothing new. Say bye. Alright. I think we can talk to Harna. I know I'm lagging behind. I should be going to Fawn right now, but let's talk to Harna first. She is out here, right? Yes, she is. And don't worry, I'll equip that shield on Dupre in a bit. Information. Strange objects. Yes. I'd like to know about... I don't want to click this. There's a reason for that. We already asked about the coins. About this pumice. This type of rock is not common around here. Now, if thou didst speak with Craig, perhaps he could help thee. He is fond of long walks, and sometimes he discovers odd rocks and plants. He brings me mandrake roots sometimes. That's a reagent. Ah, here we go, urn. Why, that looks to be a funeral urn. In our cities are accustomed to burn our dead, and keep their remains in such urns. I wonder, Kaladin hath been angered because the ashes of his grandfather are missing. Perhaps that is what that urn contains. And we can ask one more. I don't know if we asked about the pine cone last time. I probably should be writing this stuff down. Let's ask about either the rock or the bottle of ice wine. Let's do the egg. I'm going to risk the egg. It appears to be an egg from some kind of bird. The shell appears to be thick, yet it is not exceedingly hard. The shell seems to be intended to protect the baby bird from the cold. I would surmise that this egg came from a bird that lives in the north. Oh, we can ask more. We asked 3, she usually stops. Maybe this happens after Kantra's little thing in the crystal ball. Let's ask about the glowing rock. This glowing rock must have come from some strange unnatural place. I've never seen such a rock in any sort of place near here. I sense that it doth have unusual powers, incredible energies, hidden abilities. Yes, we can keep asking. How about this bottle of wine? I know of no one that could help thee with this. I know nothing of beverages. Perhaps Lucilla knows something. How about this, we asked about the fur cap. I think Celia, the furrier, mentioned about that too. Apparatus. That strange apparatus doth look like nothing I have ever seen before. Could it be some kind of statue, or may it have some magical implement? Fawn is known for its statuary, while Moonshae is the city of mages. Perhaps thou shouldst inquire there. What about this hairbrush? We mentioned that in the last part. Do not bring that thing near me. If thou hast desire to know its nature, ask of Templar, but never bring that object here again. What about this? Yeah, show her the bloody hand. She's probably going to freak out. What a puzzling mystery, or not. Well, she is into magic. Thou shouldst ask Renfrey, our undertaker, about it. It looks like we're going to stay here and monitor just a little bit longer before we head off to Fawn. What of... I guess I'm going to ask all these, because I can't remember which ones I chose. I know I chose the stockings. I'll just go through all this again. Slippers. Surely these belong to no one in this city. Craig the provisioner might know who would sell something like these slippers. Fur cap. Celia knows about it. Strange coins. Coins from another town. Spectre knows them. We already asked Spectre. We already know of the stockings. We asked Brendan because he knows about stockings, I guess. We know why. Pinecone. We asked about that, I believe, too. And she goes back. We can ask a lot more. So let's go talk to Templar, who's right over here. Still 3 p.m. Early 3 p.m. Because we can ask him about the hairbrush. What do you know of this grisly hairbrush? A peculiar brush. I suspect that I already know what it is, but let me see. That is a goblin hairbrush, made out of the bones of their victims, or so the legends claim. Perhaps crafted from the thigh bone of one of my old friends. Some day, thou or I too may be odd bits of furnishings in some goblin hut. No, not me. Goblin artifacts. Goblins have some pretty strange things. Jewelry made from human bones. Drums made with human skin. Much broken glass. Very macabre. Macabre. I suspect their own village must be brimming with such little nightmares. They eat nearly anything, except their own kind. Goblins are especially fond of children. We had to build the city walls to keep their scouts from stealing our babies. The goblins consider the pelts of the guani to be great prizes. Thou canst recognize a goblin chief by the pelt he wears. The chief always keeps the prize artifacts for himself, but you must lock them away in a safe place, or his followers will steal them. They'd be brazen enough to steal from their own chieftain? That's funny. Guani pelts. The furs are taken from the guani, a race of fierce warriors which live in the far north. They are said to be even more vicious than the goblins. Guani fur provides great warmth, but it is also valued for its great beauty. It sparkles in the light. Okay, what of that traitor that we slew? A goblin magically transformed himself into a man and hid amongst us as Simon. Amazing. One day we must learn the secret of how they could accomplish this thing. Well, I could just tell you it was a magical potion from Moonshade. If you guys showed at least a little bit interest in magic, you would know these things. It's the fact that these knights are so superstitious of magic that even the goblins are smart enough to know and take advantage of that and get a spy in Monitor. I just find that to be very interesting. You think goblins are like just barbarians, but some of them are pretty smart. Well, Palm Durgan is. He knows Monitorians are suspicious of magic. So, okay, let's have a goblin drink a magical potion and sneak him inside the city so he can spy on Monitor. But what else am I doing? I guess we'll go to Renfrey next. Renfrey, about this bloody hand that I can't seem to ask you about. Undertaker, Ashes of the Dead. We already saw all this, so I'm not going to read all this. Mysticism, this seems new. We are a community of knights. For us, the world is a harsh place in which only the valiant survive. We do not trust magic. Thou couldst not sell a magical weapon in this town at any price. Yet, there are powers greater than mere magic. One of these mysteries concerns the Ashes of the Dead. As we all know, the Ashes of Grenadier lie at the end of Knight's Test. What is the power which causes the totem animal to appear? Not even I can say. And no one can explain the Serpent Gate, yet we have built our city above it. We got some new dialogue. Let's ask him about Grenadier, rather. I can hardly do justice to the tale. Thou shouldst speak to Lord Morstan. Suffice it to say that when our blood is mixed with the ashes of the dead Goblin King Grenadier, the totem animal of a Monitor Knight appears. Grenadier was our greatest foe. Do his ashes stand for hatred, and thus the animals are produced to try to slay us? Or do his ashes symbolize courage? If so, this suggests that the goblins have more in common with Monitorians than many would like to believe. Let's ask about Serpent Gate. A stone platform hidden in the crypts. The described serpent marks the stonework as being the product of the daemons. Such daemons once dwelt throughout this land. But for as long as the knights have been here, the daemons have confined themselves to the dungeon called Furnace. By legend, the platform is called the Gate of the Serpent. But a gate to where? To what? We can't ask about the bloody hand. We already saw this. Got that urn. Already asked about that, the dead. Yep. We can get drop bodies in there for money. Huh. Can't ask anything about that. Okay, bye. I'll try that again later. Well, we got Dupre's shield, so let's go ahead and give him the shield. I'm gonna take this off, put that there. You can have that, and you can have this, and I can have this. And I will give that to, I think, YOLO, because he can use some defense. And Dupre's shield provides the same amount of defense as a magical shield. So, in all respects, it's exactly the same. Pretty cool. Also looks pretty cool. He gets a special shield, but no one else does. It's too bad. And also, you may notice the Monitor shield that we had in here, we gave back to Luther. I want to mention that because in the original Serpent Isle, He doesn't take the shield back, even though the dialogue says he does. SI fixes that. Anything new in here at all? Engagement ring, fur cap, breastplate, slippers. There we go. A grisly brush made from the bones of some poor victim of the goblins. How foul. Bloody hand. A sturdy shield belonging to Luther of Monitor. The funerary urn containing the ashes of the dead taken from the caves of Monitor. That's it. Got the urn here. We got an extra shield that we got from that dead pikeman a long time ago, I believe. Alright, let's go talk to Kaladin. I believe he's in here, right? He's out there for some reason. You have to excuse me, because this game has a lot of dialogue, and I like to expend through all of it, which makes me nervous as to how I'm going to edit this sometimes. There we go. Missing urn. I'm not superstitious, mind thee, excuse me. But I do believe that a man's ashes are sacred. They represent his soul, his heart, his honor. To know that my grandfather's ashes have been taken from the crypts. Well, I have an urn. I'll ask that in a bit. I just noticed we're in a different subject. Honor. Nothing is more important than one's honor. I'm a valiant man, and I can promise you 3 things. Honor, valor. I shall never... Oh, he already says... Reread all that before. Crypts. I believe we read that as well. Well, I have an urn. Thou dost, an urn of the dead. How didst thou chance upon it? Perhaps thou hast slain the thieves who insulted mine ancestor's soul. Why, we totally did. Or rather, we found it, my lord. Might I examine it, please? Imagine saying no. We're gonna say yes. This is my grandfather. Thou hast reunited the souls of my family. Stopping right here. How do you know that? All these urns look the same. Does Renfrey engrave the bottom or something? Please accept this gift as an expression of my sincerest gratitude. Oh, sure, thank you. Here are coins enough to buy a room and board at any inn for thee and thy fine companions. Thank you very much. I think it's better to just say no to that, just to be a little honorable, I guess, but oh well. I'm not going to redo that just for that. Because we can use some money. We'll give this to Duper. He's got a lot of stuff. In fact, I gotta store some stuff away before we go anywhere. So let's go back to Lydia's home. One last thing, I gotta talk to Craig, who decides he doesn't want to man his store anymore, I guess. Walks all the way over there to open the shutters. Wonderful. Well, let's talk to him. We got some leather armor to sell. We also have stuff to ask him about, I believe. Information. What do you know of this pumice? I recognize thy description. Such rocks doth come from the depths of the earth, where lava flows free, and deadly gases abound. Standar the blacksmith hath been to places such as these, on his quest of courage. Thou mightst acquire more information from him. Wonderful. About these slippers. Slipping Bull. I think we read this already. Yeah, we did. No need for ruins. Let's sell some thingamajigs. We got leather gloves. I'd like to sell one. Just falling apart, he says. 2 monetari, that's not a whole lot. What about the pants? We got 1 pair of pants we can sell. 10 monetari is a little better. No thank you, and buy. Let's go ahead and... because they sell it right off our companions, I believe. Or no, it came out of... good. It came out of Dupre's stuff. I really had to organize his inventory a little bit. Okay, Standar's next, and then I'm going off to Fawn. Standar's right over here, in the smithy shop. And this place is great for buying armor. You can buy plate armor from Standar. So, We don't quite have the money for that right now. We're going to have to acquire some money later. Let's talk to you real quick. Quest of Courage. We knights on occasion go on what we call quests of courage. Many times they involve going to the woods on goblin raids. Other times they involve entering the depths of a dungeon called Furnace. That place is filled with a withering heat, and many monsters live there. Recently, a knight and a good friend of ours named Pendar went off on a quest to Furnace in search of a treasure of which he had heard rumors. He hath not returned. Now we worry about him and wonder if we shall ever see him again. Perhaps he is spending his treasure? Ha! I don't think so. Simon. Simon was Goblin Spy. I would never have suspected. Okay, bye. Alright, Fawn, finally. Well, kind of. The Fellowship Camp. I haven't forgotten about Schmed's body back at the Knight's Test, by the way. I am going to cremate him eventually. I think I changed my mind. I'm going to do that to, for some NPCs. Mainly the Knights, and not anyone else. But here we are. I have no idea how to title this video. I'm doing a bunch of different stuff at once. We were in Monitor talking. Now we're here talking. So let's talk to this guy. At last, the values of the Fellowship have reached into the ranks of the pikemen. I am honored. Actually, I've heard of you before. We are not Serpent Isle natives. I'm Leon, a speaker for the Fellowship and former farmer. You can see the piousness in his face, this guy. Fellowship. While the virtues that Lord British expound are all very well and good, they are nearly impossible for ordinary people to achieve. Balin said much the same thing. Simple people need a simple philosophy. The triad of inner strength is the answer. The Fellowship is a group that hath been gaining much popularity in recent years with the people of Britannia. On the surface, blah blah blah. La-di-da. You can ask about the philosophy again. I am not going to read this. Because if you watch the previous playthrough of the Black Gate, this is just a repeat of that. It's kind of a little joke, I guess. Triad of inner strength. 3 principles based on unity, trustworthiness, and all this garbage here. I'm just going to skip this. Yep. Don't want to read that. Inner voice. The inner voice is within all living beings. Actually, that's the Guardian. That's actually the Guardian. If only you knew. If only you knew. Goblins. I saw some new lines in there, but whatever. Without the fine aid of thee and thy monitoring comrades, these poor sailors and I would have been lost long ago. Callista refused us the safety of the city walls, even when the tower fell to the barbaric goblins. I never thought that I would rue the day that another intelligent being learned the truths of the Fellowship. We would be doing far better if the goblins had not found unity under the leadership of Pomdurgan. Pomdurgan. He hath but lately declared himself chief of all goblins. Where once they could be discouraged by the mere presence of armed resistance, they now are bold and organized. They no longer flee, but stay and fight. What do you know of Callista? She is the priestess of beauty, the cult that controls Fawn. Callista presides over the Oracle, which never varies in supporting her views. One might suspect that Callista uses the Oracle to increase her own personal power. Be careful, she might execute you for that. In fact, she wants you executed. But I have no idea how such a thing will be accomplished. What do you know of the Oracle? You heard about her. It, rather. It was commissioned by Lady Fawn herself and built by the mages of Britannia. 'Twas to be an instrument of truth. I cannot say that it is still so. It gives revelations throughout the day. The sort of revelations. For the most part, they are simple platitudes that further ingrain their reverence of beauty. They do nothing to help the people improve their lives. At other times, like when the sailors and I were banished from the city, they reflect the wishes of Callista and the great captains. We heard about that. And what do you know of the great captains? They are the counselors of Lady Alyssand by title. They control the fishing fleets, or did before the storms began. In reality, they control all of Fawn. It is painfully obvious that Lady Alyssand is merely a figurehead to be manipulated by Zulith at the behest of Garth, Joth, and Volden. We met Zulith, the guy who was following us the other day. 'Tis easy enough to overlook him, unless he wants that I notice. He is a simpering little man who styles himself as the consort of Lady Alinda. Sadly, she pays no more heed of him than her mirror. Her interests, I think, lie more in line with Jorvin, captain of the guard. Zulith is a puppet for Callista and the great captains, but beware of him, friend, for he can be vicious if slighted. I will. What do you know of Volden? Volden is perhaps the person who would most benefit from practicing worthiness. I have heard that he is diverting funds from the fleets for his own gain, but who can say for sure? It is his heavy hand that holds the reins of the city. Thou shouldst be careful around him. He is a violent man. Well, we know a thing or two about violent people, so we can handle him, probably. Joth. Joth is the only one of the great captains that seems to have any real interest in the fleets. He would certainly be more at home on the deck of a ship than here on land. I know these descriptions, we went through them before with other NPCs, and they're just kind of worded differently depending on the NPC talking about them, but I like to click through them just because I can. Garth. Garth is the most junior of the three great captains. His interests seem to lie mostly in impressing the ladies of the city. I do not think he dares go against the wishes of the other two captains. And what do you know of these storms? The storms at sea cannot compare to these unnatural occurrences. Their very existence says that we are in a land so far from the natural order of things that even the skies lash out at us. Batlin was right. We cannot hope to survive if unity is not brought to this place. And what do you know of Batlin? Thou knowest Batlin? We can say no. That'd be a lie. Yes, I knowest of him, in a way. What canst thou tell us of home? What news of his noble cause? All is not well. It hath been disbanded. This is unthinkable. Surely there hath been some mistake. There is nothing evil in our principles. They are meant for all, without regard for station of birth. Batlin must be told of this. If he returns to Britannia to explain to Lord British, I am sure that everything will be settled. Perhaps our good name was degraded by those wishing to stop our ministering, but that shows a lack of trust. I must meditate on this. Mine inner voice will no doubt provide an answer for such horrible news. This cannot be. Yeah. This guy is innocent, but apparently the Guardian is talking to him. That's funny. Now, who else can we talk to? Scots already. We talked to Ruggs. Alyssand was here last time, but we talked to her. And we will talk to her again. Does Ruggs say anything new, though? In fact, where is he? It's 4 p.m. That's Kay. I'm not talking to Kalen. He is ministering his crops. Do you have any new lines, Ruggs? No, you don't. Alright, let's go over to Fawn. It took me like 30 minutes to get here. It's been 40 minutes on my time. I never know how to title these videos sometimes because I do different things in the video. And it's hard to have a title focus on what I'm going to be doing. I was going to call this video Fawn. Fawn is the City of Beauty. But it took me like 30 minutes to get here. Over here is a house. That says something. We'll go inside. This is a guest house. You'll know by reading this scroll right here. Welcome travelers and be at ease. This rest house is open to all who walk in beauty. Feel free to take whatever food thou mayest need. As a courtesy to other travelers, please leave the rest house in the manner that thou didst find it. Oh. Got a bag. Can we take the bag? Well, it says take whatever food thou mayest need. We don't need the food. We got some beds to sleep in if we need to. It's a rest house, of course. Pretty cool. Though I would feel kind of funny sleeping here when it's so close to the woods where the goblins are. I'm not going to take anything, though, so let's just leave. Let's go into Fawn, City of Beauty, finally. It took me a while to get here. He always talks to you, this guard. We're going to ignore him. Go in here. This layout reminds me of the guard tower in Tenebrae and Ultima VIII Pagan. For some reason I thought that'd be the guard book, but it isn't. In fact, there's nothing here at all. Now, do you remember... Also, he's going to approach me again. No, he's not. Let's close this gate. I thought every time that opens, that guard approaches you. But if you remember, we gave Callista the breastplate that we got in the storm. So I'm going to go after my own breastplate and get it back. Too bad she didn't have it on her. And you're going to note that Fawn is actually a rather pretty city on the surface. It's actually really well designed. It's easy to navigate, and it's very, very white. Very, very, very white. There's not a speck of dust, dirt, or anything. I don't know why I said dust. I mean dirt and stuff. This must be very hard to clean, too, with it being white, but it is a game, so they didn't think about that. I believe Callista's house is... There's Jorvin, right here. This book says... Nothing special. Oh, that's not it. There's a key here, though. I'll keep that in mind for later. And this may not be the right house, after all. Wonderful. Yeah, this isn't the right house. Never mind, I'm misremembering. Let's go in here. I really want that breastplate. I bet this is the house. It looks really important. Very, very white. Man. Yeah, this is it. Kind of, I think. Ooh. No, it's not. Lots of armor here, though. Got a crested helm. A plumed helm. Got a bag. I'm not gonna take any of that stuff, though. Where is Callista's house? I forgot where it is. If I can aim for him, that would be wonderful. I am a lieutenant in Fawn's guard. Thou must address me as such, my lord. What do you know of these storms? The storms are no great cause for alarm. Remain inside a shelter and thou shouldst be fine, my lord. Goblins? Not a safe place to be. Bye. He has nothing to say. Wonderful. I forget how these sequence of events happen. Let's talk to Jorvin real quick. Hello. Oh, we chose all these already. If you remember Zulith, he said he can get an audience with us, with Lady Alinda. And that's a big turning point in the story. I can't remember if that happens after we talk to some people, or if enough time needs to pass. Yeah, this isn't the right house. I feel like a measly thief looking through all this stuff. What's in that bag? Just some money. You can totally take anything you see that's not nailed down. As long as there's no guards nearby, you won't get in trouble. Your companions won't leave you. I guess they only care if it's Britannia that you're stealing from. Or you're stealing at, rather. That door's locked. Completely forgot where Callista's house is. My goodness. Our house is in the northwest. There it is. That took a little while. For some reason I thought northeast, not northwest. But we can totally take that. I'll take that off. There we go. The avatar almost has a full set of magical armor. All we need is the helmet. We won't get that for a little while. And the question is, who do I give the chainmail to? Well, we'll give that to Dupre. He almost has a full set of, chainmail. All he needs is the helmet. And no one else can wear the leather chest piece, so I'm just going to put that in Dupre's backpack. We're not going to take anything else. Yeah, I thought for some reason our house was in the northeast. The way everything looks the same, I'm sure you understand if it's easy to get disoriented a little bit. Because all the houses look the same. And finally, let's talk to some people here. Get some more information about this place. This is like a warehouse, looks like. Not gonna loot anything though, no need. You totally could, but I'm not going to. Must be an avatar even if we're on a new land. Oh, a tavern. Callista's here. That's the tavern owner. Let's talk to Callista, who just burped up a good one before we talk to her. Do you have anything new? No, you don't, spy. Let's talk to this guy. The name's Jendon, my lord, proprietor of the Broken Oar. What can I do for thee this afternoon? Proprietor. He used to serve the sailors that spent their days drinking sea spray, or their nights drinking ale. Not a pretty bunch, but they spent enough to keep a roof over mine head. But since those cursed storms have destroyed the fleet, there hath been precious little business. Used to have a lad that served the drinks for me. His mother cooked and did the washing up. But Denizia became ill and died. The healers could do nothing. A young Rindor went to sea, never returned. What do you know of these storms? Products of evil, I tell you. We be folks as live off the bounty of the sea, but these storms do not like nothing on the water. All the fishing ships have either been destroyed or transformed into something that was never meant to touch water. That was what happened to Rindor, and his ship suddenly became a grain wagon. Wagons don't float too good. No, they do not. Do you have any information? What be thou interested in? Strange objects. What sort of items art thou inquiring about? I want to know about... I'm not going to show him the bloody hand. He's probably going to freak out. We asked some of these things with Harna, but let's see if we can get new information from them. You know anything about this wine? Doth not sound like Fawn ale, maybe that weak vintage from Moonshade. I do not sell it here. Fawn folk prefer Fawn ale. I do not know how you can stomach it. What about these, We want to go to the Sleeping Bowl to ask about the slippers. Let's ask about this apparatus. Doth not look like anything I ever heard of. But perhaps Delphinia could help thee. She uses all manner of fancy equipment to prepare herbs for healing and such. What are these coins? Why, those are Falari. Those are the coins of Fawn. They simply appeared, thou sayest? Strange storms, these. I seem to recall Dellen complaining that he had lost some coins, but I thought that was his forgetfulness. What of this pine cone? That looks like a pine cone to me, obviously. They come from big trees, but not like those hereabouts. Thou couldst ask Olan about it. He hath traveled quite a bit. And what of... fur cap. Nice cap. A bit small, though. Not something a fisherman would wear. It would blow off the ship. Ask thou Dellen if he has seen a cap like this. He is the provisioner. He should know. What about this glowing rock? Now that is strange indeed. It fairly reeks of wizardry, my lord. I shall thank thee to take it out of here. I want nothing to do with such evil things. Take it to Delphinia, if thou must parade it about. What about, these slippers? I cannot recall having seen any of the women in town with slippers like these. Thou mightst check with Dellen to see if he remembers who purchased these. And unlike Harna, we can ask him about a lot of things. Stockings. And he won't stop. These are fine things. Not what thou wouldst find among the women of fisherfolk. Perhaps Alyssand could help thee. She is a good hand at weaving the stockings that are found hereabouts. I believe she already, told us about it. Nothing more. Glad to be of service to thee, my lord. Return if thou hast any more questions. Or just more questions. I want to know about the people here. Townsfolk or strangers? Let's ask about the townsfolk. Whom dost thou wish to know about? The priestess. Callista is the priestess of beauty. To her falls the duty of keeping Fawn on the path of beauty through these dark days. And that be a large job for such slender shoulders, make no mistake. What are the town leaders? Well, now there be plenty of those here. Who dost thou wish to know about? You know what? I think I'm not going to go through these. You don't have to go through them. What do you have for buying? For sale, I mean. Food? You got mutton, ham, rolls, sea bass, and tarpon. I don't need any of those. Nothing. And bye. What? It's a pirate with a crossbow. He's attacking. How about you? It's Kalen. Try to kill me. Who saw that coming? My death only delays the inevitable, Avatar. That one will soon have more power than thou canst dream of, and my reward will be sure. Are you sure about that? You're dead, as Dupree said. You have anything cool? You got a crossbow. Don't really need the crossbow, but I will take it. It only weighs 3 stones, and YOLO can have the crossbow bolts. I guess I'll just leave the body here. It's gonna stay here for the rest of the game. Let's talk to Callista again. Do you have any new lines? No. Do you have anything new to say here? We haven't talked to him yet. I haven't been out at this tavern all day. Find someone else to put the blame on, pikeman. My name's Olan, and I'm a fisherman betrayed. Do you know about this pine cone? That'd be a mighty big pine cone that us have, my lord. I haven't seen one that size since the last time we sailed around that big forest north of here. They were all over there. That's good information. Pikeman. I'm not so far gone in me cups as to not be able to see the mark that thou bearest on thy face. All the world knows thee for a pikeman, but thou must be weary after taking back the tower from those foul goblins. Pull up a chair and we'll swap a few yarns over a cup or two. What sort of yarns do you have to yarn? I'm certain that thou hast many yarns to tell. Wert thou amongst the company that retook the tower? Yes. I wager that it was as gruesome as the King of the White Dragon's castle. King of the White Dragon. Long ago, when the mountains were young, this land was ruled by 2 rival kings. One of those kings was called the King of the White Dragon. The King of the White Dragon drove away his rival king, but he could not enjoy his victory, for the goblins were to come. Or just were come. Hordes and hordes of goblins, and there weren't nothing the old King of the White Dragon could do to hold him back. Something snapped in that old man's head when he saw that he could never control the land. So the king planned a way for him to have control over everything at last. He summoned all his folk for a big party, and locked them into the castle. Then, one by one, he murdered them all, down to the last babe. And then, as dawn broke, he stood in the tower all bloody and called to the goblins that the King of the White Dragon had saved his people from their stew pots. They say he lives there still, feeding off any who pass by. One thing's certain, the goblins don't go near that place to this very day. That story is going to be a little important later on in the game, so try to remember it. Storms. I would almost believe that the world was at an end. These horrible storms have all but destroyed the town. How's a body to make a living without a ship? How can a fisherman fish from a wagon? It sinks. Can't put a sail on a cart and expect it to take thee out to sea, and back again, drowned. Good men all, gone to the bottom of the sea, and I should have been with them. They'll come for me. I know they will. Down to the bottom o' the sea. Bottom o' the sea. He's got survivor's guilt. Speaking of Kalen, well, I'm sure Alyssand, she will have no need to worry about him, with him sort of oogling her, as she mentioned earlier. Well, she said he was staring at her, and he's a pirate, and pirates have no morals, so you'd know what he was thinking. Let's go down south and explore the city just a little bit more. I forget how exactly the next story segment works in Fawn. We haven't talked to this guy yet, but I will later. I want to go down here. And where's the music? This place had music. I think only the palace has music. There's Alyssand. I will talk to her in a bit. Let's talk to this gentleman here. I do not recall seeing thy face among the Fawn Tower garrison. Have I met thee? I regret I cannot remember. I am Delin, Fawn's provisioner. Forgive me if thou dost already know me. How may I serve thee, noble pikeman? This guy has, his memory is not so good anymore. Alyssand mentions because of his wife, I believe. Let's ask about these slippers. Fine slippers, though well worn, not something that thou wouldst find here, my lord. Such frail things would be quickly ruined by the cold and wet here in Fawn, just like my poor Alyssand. Oh, is that your deceased wife? Oh, she was a true beauty, I tell thee. Soft golden hair and the brightest eyes that thou hast seen. Though she came from Moonshade, no one had cause to fear her. She had not a drop of magic, other than her smile. Our friend Iolo shares thy grief, my lord. His wife is lost somewhere in these lands. For thy sake I hope that she doth live, stranger Iolo. If Gwenna were lost to me, from me forever, perhaps I too would be a little confused. Condolences to thee, Dellen, and apologies if we had been unfeeling. They say that I shall feel better soon, but I don't believe it. Let's ask about Moonshade. We don't know much about that city yet. Moonshade is where my wife was from. She was the most patient of women. Moonshade is ruled by mages. To them, if thou art not a mage, thou art nothing. Oh, much like Monitor. If you're not a knight there, you are nothing. The mages shed no tears when mine Alyssand left the town. She was nothing in their eyes, but everything in mine. What do you know of this fur cap? 'Tis a nice fur cap, my lord. If thou dost wish more, I fear thou wilt have to venture to Monitor thyself, though I have forgotten the maker's name at this time. I have not had a supply wagon bring arms or furs in a score of days. 'Tis the storms. Yeah, these storms are bad. The storms, oh yes. They're very interesting to watch, though my daughter would not allow me to go outside where I can see better. So many pretty colors, and such unusual results. Father, thou wilt stay indoors when those storms come through town. That's smart. I suppose I must if thou sayest so, my dear. What can you tell me of your daughter? Thou hast met my daughter. I have forgotten, I'm sorry. Alyssand is very pretty, but she worries too much about me. She doth not believe that I be all right without her. Thou dost need me, father. Thy business is much too complex for thee to run by thyself. I can do fine without thee, my dear. What were we discussing, my lord? Alyssand. Alyssand is around somewhere, or at least she was. She never leaves me alone for long. She hovers over me quite a bit since Keth disappeared. Alyssand's my daughter, didst thou know? Yes, I do. She was one of the first people we met here. Father, that is my business. I am sorry, daughter. Colors. Oh yes, thou shouldst watch one of these storms sometime. The lightning is all different colors. Of course, if thou strayest too far out to watch, thou mayest not enjoy it too much. Tell me about it. Results. Results? Results of what? What were we talking about? Now I remember, the storms. There are two reasons these storms are fun to watch. What are those reasons? Sometimes 'tis flash, and something thou wert standing across from is gone. But sometimes 'tis flash, and something thou wert watching is a big orange pumpkin. I like the last one best. 'Tis fun to guess what will be there after the flash. Sounds like he doth have a sense of humor like thine, Iolo. 'Tis such an incredible sight, ho ho he. 'Tis not very funny if what was hit was a person. Iolo knows that personally. Alright. What do you know of these goblins? Why wouldst thou want to talk about them? The storms are much more fun. We do not have time for this. Oh, alright, don't be testy. Thou dost not need a scowl so. Everyone is so serious these days. 'Tis not healthy, thou knowest. The goblins are large, mean, and hateful. They prefer to eat humans, and they make it unsafe to travel. But I never traveled since they took away my son, Frelly. Oh, I'll ask about Frelly in a few seconds. Unsafe. Nothing is safe, not even life. I lost my dear Alyssand after childbirth. If thou couldst return to the subject at hand. I wandered off again, didn't I? What was I saying? The goblins have killed our leader, and now we have to make do with a horticulturist. Imagine that. And of course, the goblins have attacked the Fawn Tower. We met the healer. Well, the new healer. His name was Seth, I believe. Good healer, but he had a nasty temper. I'm certain that the goblins found him a bitter meal. Ha. What can you tell me of Seth? Seth? Oh, the healer. Didst thou know him too? No, I did not. Always insisted on going herb gathering alone. 'Tis what finally killed him. Wouldn't take any guards along with him, even after the goblin attacks increased. Horticulturist. Did I say something about a horticulturist? I thought we were talking about healers. When Seth was killed, Delphinia took his place. We could not obtain a replacement from anywhere because of the storms. And what can you tell me of Delphinia? We met her. She was one of the first people we met here. Delphinia is a fine horticulturist, to be sure, but she hath had a little or no training as a healer. And it doth not seem right having a woman as a healer. Women should concern themselves with the delights of life, not the sorrows. Change subject. Tell that to Yana, too. She was our healer in the last game. What can you tell me of Frelly? He was your son? Frelly. Didst thou say Frelly? Hast thou seen him? I have not seen him since the Magister took him away. I would give anything to be able to see him again, or to have some word from him. Alyssand died bringing him into this world. He is all that I have to remember her by, except for Alyssand, of course, but Frelly favors his mother more. What's a Magister? The Magister comes like a thief in the night, to test the children of the land for magic talent. If a mage's child is discovered, the Magister steals the child, just as he stole my little Frelly. Thou dost not work for the Magister, dost thou? Nope, I do not. I am new here. Good, because the Magister hath no call to spy on me. I have had no contact with Frelly since he was taken away. No mortal can win in a struggle against wizards. Fawn Tower. But then thou knowest all about goblin treachery, being its pikeman and all. Everyone is so relieved that thy fine pikeman companions have retaken the tower from Palm Durgan. But they do not understand that it is only a matter of time before we die. Admittedly, though, I will grant that most any death would be better than becoming a goblin supper. I do agree. What do you know of the goblin chieftain, though? I am certain that Palm Durgan would be very disappointed to learn that thou dost not know of him. He hath gone to great lengths to be sure that we in Fawn know the name of the goblin leader that will bring us to our knees, or his stew pot. Change subject. Now, what do you have in regards to provisions? I provide Fawn with adventuring supplies, though I regret that my stock is not great at the moment. These storms have made the supply wagons from the other cities rare indeed. What dost thou wish to purchase? Ah, we got some stuff. Bag. We can buy bags. He's got a great helm, backpack, bolts for a crossbow, a sextant, though we have one, fur boots, bedroll. We managed to pick up another one from the storm too, forgot to show that off. Well, candle and a fishing pole. I don't want anything though. I will say bye. Oh, who's that? Ah, it's Jorvin. Greetings, visitors. Thanks to the beautiful songs of the bard Yolo, thou hast found favor in our good city. The lady will welcome thee formally to Fawn. Thou mayest attend her within her throne room at the palace, afternoon. Be certain to bring that fellow Yolo with thee. The lady doth wish to confer an honor upon him. Such an honor, he says. Ah, okay, so he can go there anytime you wish. Forgot how that worked. I'm going to talk to Alyssand, though. Let's ask about Zulith. That worm hath been following thee? Then he doth suspect that thou art ally with a cause. Watch thy step, lest thou be exiled like the fellowship folks. Without thee to help us, our cause would be lost. We can get someone else to do it, can't you? No? Okay then. Moonsilk stockings. Thou make some woman happy with so fine a pair of stockings. I knew that such fine work was possible, but I had never actually seen the stockings they sell in Moonshade. It doth cause me to wonder why anyone in the city of mages would buy the rough stockings I make, when they could repurchase or just purchase one so soft. Provisions. I help father with the shop when he is indisposed. What dost thou wish to purchase? Same things. All the things. Goblins. I think she says the same thing as last time. Yep. don't think she says anything new. Companions. Ah, Kalen. We don't have to worry about him anymore. Change subject. The cause. Persevere. Ruben. Ah, music finally. One cannot tell when the time to act shall arrive. Continue to pry secrets from the townsfolk. Sometimes, a stranger can learn more than an old friend. Go places thou art not wanted, and look for the hidden things. Surely thou wilt find a clue. Thou must find the evidence that hath eluded us, so that Fawn can be freed. When I'm playing this, music doesn't really play a whole lot, which makes doing commentary a little awkward. Also, I thought we were able to talk about the coins we got to her. Storms. Fleets. On. Huh. If she mentioned it last time, I completely forgot. Goblins. Leon. She just says same thing as last time. Zulith, yeah, he followed us. Huh. Because we got the money. We can't return it. Check this. Strange baubles, silver disc with jewels in the center. Oh well, let's just not worry about it then. Let's go talk to some more people. This part might be a little bit long. Like I said, I feel weird trying to talk when there's no music playing. It's easy for me to just do long stretches of silence sometimes. Like that happened earlier in this part that I'll probably just skip past. I don't know who sleeps in here. I guess no one. Let's go north. There's also one area in Monitor I forgot to explore. It's the docks. There's a docks in Monitor. I have a tendency to always go for like the next area that's important. Like I know this game, so areas that are unexplored just remain unexplored because there's nothing there. I gotta stop and smell the roses sometimes. Anyways, what do you know about this apparatus, Delphinia? That is a piece of mage's equipment, my lord. Thou say it is not thine. Then thou wilt have to inquire in Moonshade to find who it belongs to. Each mage's equipment is different from every other mage's, as much for pride as anything else. I'm sorry I cannot be any more help to thee. What do you know of this rock? That is no reagent that I know of, my lord, but it is fascinating. I'm sure that it is magical, but I do not know how. And for some reason I feel I should ask thee to take it away from here, and forget that I saw it. I'm sorry I cannot be of more help. We got nothing else here with her, so let's just leave her be. Yeah, we can go talk to them, but I'm going to do that tomorrow in-game. I'll try to talk to every other NPC that I can before we continue onwards. Oh, there's Dylan. How did he get here so quickly? That's funny. It's a guard barracks there. That little pool here. It's nice. This city is actually really well designed. It's the best designed city in Serpent Isle. Monitor 2 is a nice little hub. I like how there's like a big wall surrounding Monitor to protect against goblins, but none here in Fawn really. Well, the ocean is their defense, but they have no military. Just a pikeman tower, and that's it. I think I'll go back to the tavern. I know I missed one dialogue option with Olan. Not like it's a big deal. And Jendon doesn't want to say anything more about items. Oh, look at this painting here. I don't remember that. It's funny. Any of those? Oh, what's that here? That is a magic orb. Interesting. I'm going to double click that. The magic orb reads, I would not count on it. So ask it a question and it'll give you the answer. Will I find Batlin soon. The magic orb reads, "Trust thy friends not. Slay them instead, Avatar." Is that really a magical orb? Is the Guardian playing a trick on us? What are my chances with Thoxa the Monk in Monk Isle? Magic orb reads, "Trust thy friends not. Slay them instead, Avatar." Well, he didn't give me a straight answer, so let's just move on. Oh, dog. Little woofer. Good pup. Let's go in here. There's nobody in here. Some leather armor and stuff. Little cup. Also, before I forget, and I'll probably bring up in the next part, you may have noticed this game is very, very linear compared to the Black Gate. That's by design. It's a very, very linear game. At least past this point. Because we can choose to go to Sleeping Bull and find a way to Moonshade. Or you can do the quest in Monitor first, or the quest in Fawn first. Once you are done with these 3 cities, the game becomes very linear. This is the only non-linear portion of the game. So you can choose to wander all over this place, talk to people here, go to the Sleeping Pool here, talk to people there. We can go to Moonshade right away too, if we want to. I like to save that for last though. Though it's probably a good idea to go there first, because that's where you can get a spell book. But we have no need for a spell book now. I like to do Monitor, Fawn. I do Fawn first, which is what we're going to do. But yeah, this game's very, is much more linear than the Black Gate. Does that mean it's a bad game? Not at all. It is just as good as the Black Gate. And I'm kind of glad that this game isn't open world like the Black Gate, because open world fatigue is a thing. I really like how it's more narrative driven, which may have disappointed a lot of Ultima fans back then, the ones who've been with the series since the beginning. Because this is probably the first time where this game is linear. A mainline Ultima game, I mean. But anyways, what's in here? Just stuff. I think we talked to everyone we could. Let's go back to the tavern. And expend some more dialogue. Kalen's body is still here, it's funny. There's nobody in here, what the heck? They're all in, they're all with Lady Linda, probably. So I think we talked to everyone we could possibly talk to, so let's go to the palace and end this part. I'm approaching an hour and 20 minutes. Today felt really sloppy to me, so excuse me. The long stretches of silence and no music just really... It makes me feel weird. I don't know if anyone's watching does Let's Plays too. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. Oh, sorry guard, didn't mean to get in your way. Yep, we haven't talked to at least 2 of these guys here. That's Zulith, that's Shorvin. That must be Lady Alinda, so in the next part, we're gonna walk in here and say hello to the ruler of Fawn. I'm sure she'll be very, very friendly, and I'm sure our dinner engagement here will go very, very smoothly.